Steve, you better get loaded. You're going to get left behind.
Jason from the red score was a 73. 73.
Third, number 1, Stop the Block, and fourth, number 7, Real McKay. Hold all tickets until each race is posted official.
Time for goal was 11:63. 11:63. Now we're going to get a ball Cresta. Down around Sebastopol country, Santa Rosa country. From a long way to be here. Sitting seventh in the California standings. Now tell you what, here's five. So really love them calves, Bulldog, and Rope Steers. The Cresta family puts on a bunch of great ropers down in Napa, Arizona, and San Francisco, and wine country. Beautiful country. All this come a long way to be here. Sitting seventh in the CCA. The NPRA final.
I don't know, I just don't like farming. But this year we're not doing no onions and stuff, so it's a lot easier. Because onions, you gotta pick out the clods and stuff, and all kinds of dust comes out.
Like, I get paid for helping my aunt with hay bales because I'm gonna raise a cow for the fair.
Yeah, I might be a rancher, but not a farmer. A farmer is
a lot more
potatoes and corn and stuff, and a rancher is just hay and like corn just because for the cows.
We had a huge mill up here, and that closed, and we lost
quite a few people in the community, and then ranching is just kind of down, and the Forest Service is talking about combining with one of the neighboring parts, and so we just don't have, I mean, there's just not people moving in, and there's some people moving out, so our enrollment has been dropping, so they opened a dorm that they were doing 12 girls and 12 boys, and we were doing American students, or just like anybody who wanted to come, they applied and everything, and we ended up getting into a lot of trouble. We were getting the kids who pretty much their parents didn't want to deal with them, that they just wanted to pay so much a month for their kid to be a couple hundred miles away and get babysat. And so we were getting drug dealers, we were getting anything and everything down here, and we went through many students who we had to send home, and I mean, it was an interesting experience, but for the most part it was bad. And so they decided to move away from that and turn it into an all-boys foreign exchange student dorm. We get resumes on them, applications, and we read through what they're interested in. And like, if somebody's interested in skydiving, obviously we're not gonna, we're gonna say, well, we've got we've got plenty of options, but it's kind of limited out here. And so we kind of try to get students who we think will adapt pretty well.
When the BLM come in here back in the 60s, that was kind of about the end of a lot of the sheepmen running out on open range. To run out on the range now, the cattlemen had to have so much of a home ranch where they could raise some hay, and then they could qualify for Bureau of Land Management permits. And so I think most of the permits, all of them now are cattle. And with the economy and raising fuss about cattle and stuff, I don't know how many more are going to be around next year. It's unusual to find a second or third generation family still on the ranch. So make the Skinners so unusual in Jordan Valley. It's, I think, the fifth generation still there and making a living off of it. But back in these hills, well, around here too, if we didn't get irrigation water, all this would be just dry, dusty, blowing away stuff. Once you can get water to it, then you can raise crops. This is the best onion growing country in the nation right here in Malheur County. They raise a lot of onions.
I went to work for the Forest Service that summer as part of a timber marking crew. Well, my uncle was a logger who was still living in Seneca. And he told me, he said, can you stop the Forest Service from cutting down all these peeled trees? Traditionally, our Indian people used to go out and peel the cambium off of ponderosa pine, and they would eat it at times of starvation, times that they were caught without any food. So we have these big marks on ponderosa pines. And he said, I see a lot of those trees being cut down, and is there a way that you can stop them from cutting them down, because they are reminders that Indian people had lived there at one time. And so he showed me, by taking me out into the woods, showing me what the characteristics of a cambium peel tree look like. So that's when it really sparked my interest in trying to save those cultural areas. And so I was working with the Malheur National Forest at the time, and so I was able to, by the time that I had left, help them to understand that our people use these areas as campsites, and these were designated as cultural areas. When I retired, my supervisor said that I was a pioneer because I had opened the doors for other Indian people to come into the system. And it was kind of funny to me to be called a pioneer